throat chakra, which we need today because we're.
Oh, that's perfect.
Welcome, everybody. We have a whole bunch of people. Well, guys, okay, Walter, come on, say hello to everybody, Walter. This is why I didn't wear black today, because this baby right here.
See, I'm the opposite. My dog and cat are black, so I like to wear dark colors.
Yeah, well, okay. So, wow, we're getting hearts already. We have a lot to talk about today.
There's so much.
Everything hit the fan so quickly yesterday. I'm like, I have to remember this. I have to remember this. I have to know that, but so welcome. I mean, I don't know. Do we do introductions or does everybody know who we are already? Oh, look at this. Welcome, everybody. Well, do you want to introduce yourself and say hi in case we have some newbies here? Yeah,
sure.
Since you're my guest, go ahead.
I'm Lindsay, and I do Wavelength astrology and tarot. I've only been here on Substack, I think, since the end of October, I think was my very first astrology post.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I've been following astrology for like a decade, but I never wrote my own, like I never pulled my own charts and wrote my own astrology report until about 5 months ago. So even though I've been studying, I've been studying it a long time, but I'm very new.
Hey, you know what? You're new in this life, but apparently you've done it 1,000 times before because you're just so good at it. And I suck at astrology. That's why I'm following you, so you can teach me.
Thank you so much. Well, I do walk around my everyday life talking about it all the time. I just can't help it. And so usually I'm used to people's eyes just kind of like glazing over, and they might try to like.
That'll be me. I'll be like,
yeah, they might try to like be polite and humor me. That's like my husband, right? So when I come on here and people actually care when I talk about astrology, it's like my dream come true, It's like finally somebody wants to listen to me talk about it. Finally people want to like engage with me.
They share your passion. Yeah.
In this conversation. Yeah. I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's
do
figure it out. Because I don't know all the answers. I want people to talk back with me and let's have the conversation.
And ask. Sure.
Yeah, like let's figure it out together. Because astrology is complicated. There's layers to it,
I mean, I know like Zip. I just go solely on intuition. So I don't, like that's why when I read your posts, I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know. Aries is in this and Moon and the 12th house. I'm like, I'm not even going to pretend to fake it because I can't.
Yeah. So, and that's how I felt at first. I shared, so my favorite astrologer, the astrologer that I learned from, he is here on Substack. Oh. This isn't his main platform, but he posts sometimes, and he posted one of his YouTube videos about the new moon. So I shared it. So if anybody's curious, they can go to my page and find him. But he's like a genius, right? He's so good. And when I first started watching him, I felt the same way. Like I didn't understand any of the signs and planets and transits and whatever, but he was so good. I would try to just listen for those little nuggets of gold where he would explain like what it meant and how it felt, and he would just blow my mind. So I would literally sit there and sift through all this like astrology jargon that I didn't understand just to get those little bits, like, because it was just that good. And over time, I just started picking up on things. Eventually, eventually I did his astrology school. And after like a decade of just like listening to him talk, because he does daily videos on his app. Oh. So listening to him talk every single day for like a decade.
Well, be sure, if you remember his name, just be sure to share it somewhere along.
Yeah, he's the Leo King, and I'll put it in the comments after the video goes up.
Well, that's a great introduction. Okay, so welcome everybody.
Sorry, I rambled.
Hey, I'm all about rambling. I love it. So, so we've got a lot of people here. Welcome. All right, so that was her introduction. And for me, if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Donna Frasca, psychic medium. But my hashtag or name of my publication and my book is From Color to the Cosmos. And my memoir came about like around 2019, before everything the world kind of stopped. Yeah. And right at that time, I just say spirit because it could be guides, it could be source, it could be whoever. So just to avoid that complication, I just say, spirit said, get ready for the Great Reset. I'm like, I'm like, I mean, I hear this stuff all the time. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Are we all going to die and only some are going to make it? And the thing of it is, I actually did hear something similar, and I kind of kept it to myself. It was creepy that I clearly heard that there's going to be something where I don't remember the exact words, but where the weak will fall and the strong will survive. I just got chills. Yep.
And was that for COVID or is that now?
That was COVID.
That was
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, great reset. Just put it aside until I find out, how all this fits in. Then we had this time all to ourselves. I'm like, well, let's see. What's it say on the bucket list? I did the TV thing. I did the magazine thing. I guess I'll write a book. So that's what I did. So Spirit said, I'm like, okay, smart ass. I go, what is the name of this memoir I'm supposed to do? Then I heard From Color to the Cosmos. I'm like, ooh, I like that.
It's a good title.
It's a goodie. So the color part is for over 30 years. I'm a designer. I worked in many newspapers and advertising agencies in New York and Pittsburgh, and specializing in color, designing holistic healing color palettes for homes internationally.
That is so interesting. I didn't know that, Donna.
Oh, yeah, that's the color part of me.
Okay.
And the cosmos part is the spooky mediumship, which is way more fun.
Yeah.
So that's it. Color to the cosmos. Half and half.
So you really are an expert when it comes to color.
Color, yes. Over 30 years. Yeah.
That is amazing.
And you know what? And, I hate to say, I hate these titles. Ooh, I'm a color expert, but kind of, because when you do, all right, Walter, go ahead. When you do anything for over 30 years, you kind of know your gig,
Yeah, for sure.
But it like energy, it changes. It goes from, picking colors for homes to, I'm like, okay, I'm bored with this now. Now what can we do? Then it turned into healing, holistic hues for the home. People with ailments and cancer and all kinds of stuff were saying, I need a color for a bedroom to help me heal. What can it be? And then it, then it turned into, chakras as well. And it's all a nice combination of that. Color is just a huge, huge topic. And of course I have, a cup that has no water in it. Nice color though.
It is a beautiful color.
All right. So
it's
that's
our blue theme.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this color, a turquoise, there's a chakra between the throat and the heart. It's like right here, the etheric heart chakra. And I didn't realize that until I just looked at it now when I was talking about chakras. All right, so we got some comments already. Theo, hi, Theo Spirit. It's cool the way you use color. Yeah, I mean, Lindsay does her, astrology. It's just, everything I look at is like, okay, what does that color mean? Why am I drawn to this color? What's it mean, for you or for you or for you? So, yeah, it's very powerful. Nicole says, hi, Kitty. Oh, Walter. Yeah, he's over here now. He's by the window. So, okay, we got all kinds of people here. Well, welcome, everybody. All right, so let's get a little bit into the planets. What the heck happened yesterday?
Oh. So
and it's still going. It's still going.
Yeah, it is. I'm laughing because it was the new moon yesterday, which is a big deal. So if you were feeling like a big shift or a big something.
Moonstones, I'm all about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So this wasn't just a regular new moon. Like, I feel like nothing about the astrology right now is just regular. We're going through some crazy energy right now. So new moons are about beginnings, right? But it's like at the end of Pisces, and Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So Pisces dissolves things. Pisces is like the ending. So this new moon is about like, what do we still need to end or let go of before we can restart, right? So like to make the most of the restart that's coming, because there's more to talk about. There's a restart coming actually tomorrow.
Are you kidding me?
But we have to release something first. And you know what is so crazy is I've been talking about this new moon and having to release something for maybe like all week, right? And this morning before we got on, I was just quickly scrolling through Substack, and Psychic Jeff, I don't know if anybody's seen him, he wrote a whole post about manifesting and how most people don't realize that you have to let go of something in the process of manifesting. So I've like intuitively known that because I've seen it play out in my life. But it's just crazy that the astrology right now is like literally talking about that. And he's a psychic, so I don't know if he's even into astrology.
I
But
just found him today because I saw your post on him, like Psychic Jeff, and I found out he
yeah.
follows me. I'm like, sorry. So I
No,
just got on him
he's
today.
really good, and he does not have the subscribers that he even deserves. I'm
Well,
sure
we'll fix that.
he'll yeah, I'm sure that he'll get more popular because he is really good. But, yeah, so a lot of psychics or intuitives I notice pick up on the energy of the astrology without even knowing the astrology, and I love it so much because it's
Yeah.
such a cool confirmation, and it's just it blows my mind, right? Like, all of this spiritual stuff, even though I know it's true and I've known it was true for a long time, just continues to blow my mind. Um, it's just amazing how
Yeah.
it's
I
all
mean,
interconnected.
that's, I mean, when you were talking about the new moon in Pisces, the and you were talking about, you know, ending things and beginnings. It's the same thing with like healing and I want to say, but I don't want to say, like Reiki. Yes, yes and no, but it's in order to bring something in, whether it's an intention or a new energy or something, you have to let something go. You know, it's like you can't like gather up everything because it's like
Yeah.
okay, your yourself, whatever that means, is too big. So it's like okay, this part of me, I'm done with it. It no longer serves my highest good, so I'm going to release it. And now, when you release something, I feel that there's like a space now. Like
Yeah.
this can't be a space that has to be filled. So once something goes, I immediately bring something in. It's like okay, I'm done with this, and as that goes, I'm bringing something else in. So that's what I like to do with the new moon. Just review everything that no longer serves my highest good or just goes against my vibe or whatever it is. It could be something superficial or something on a spiritual level.
Hmm.
I'm like, yep, done with that. I'm like, okay, well now what? I'm like, well, let's just bring in something else. And on an intuitive level, I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to feel like I want to bring closer towards my awareness and exchange it? So that's what the new moon does for me,
Yeah.
or yeah, it means to me. Yeah.
I'm excited that this is like a topic of conversation because I've talked about it, but I've had kind of a hard time fully articulating it. Like, so I call it the void, and I say like embrace the void because you have to like clear. I'm kind of just re-saying what you said, but like clear things out that are no
Yeah.
longer like bringing you joy, and then you hold that empty space and
Yeah.
you don't accept anything in that's not what you want or not on your standards, and that's what's sending the signals to the universe. Like I'm
Yes.
holding this space, send something here, but nope, that's not what I want.
That's
Nope.
not it. Yeah.
And the universe will keep trying to fill that space until it gives you what you
What
want.
feels good. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
until
good
it's
to
a match.
repeat things because, you know, not only like you have your thought words, but when you say your actual words, it's a stronger intent. It's like, okay, you know, what do I not want anymore? And then what I want to do, what do I want to bring in? So it's good just to, and it's energy. It's constantly changing, as you know. So these things that we desire and don't want anymore are constantly changing. I think we have a question. Nicole, if they change the calendar from 13 months to 12 months, how do we know that the zodiac signs are actually where they are supposed to be? That's you. That's yours.
Okay.
Take
Okay.
it.
So I there are a few different like schools of astrology. I do tropical. And so tropical goes by the seasons. So like Vedic, which is more like India and over there. Like I mean anybody can do it, but it's based over there. They have a different zodiac than us. So you might have a sun sign in tropical, like I'm a Virgo in tropical, but I'm a Leo in Vedic because over thousands of years, the constellations have shifted a little bit, and Vedic follows that. Tropical does not, because tropical goes by the seasons. So on the spring equinox, according to tropical astrology, the sun will always be going to zero Aries. And so it's a system that was based on the seasons. So I know a lot of people argue about what's more accurate because Vedic, the planets are more exact with their positioning in the sky, but tropical is just based on a different system.
You know what? I actually
So,
heard that fairly recently, like within the past I want to say time's all screwed up. So
It
within the
really
past 5
is.
years, so, and they're like, because the Earth is shifting, the north point, something shifted, therefore the zodiacs are changing. I'm like, wait, no, that's set in stone. You can't, I'm a Cancer, you can't change that. But then they're
Yeah.
like,
So that's
no, I'm
not a
like,
new thing.
that
That's
doesn't
been
work.
that's not new. It's been slowly happening always, right? So the more time that goes on, the signs are slowly drifting away from where they originally were. And
That's
that's Vedic.
strange.
Vedic keeps track of that. Tropical does not, because where the system, I feel like I'm repeating this. I don't know a different
No,
way to explain it.
yeah, no, that's
But yeah,
fine.
no,
Because
it's
the
not
more you
new.
repeat it, the more I will understand. So I'm sure everybody else
And
who
with
has no clue about astrology will get it as well. So keep repeating.
But I don't think I'm really answering the question because she's more talking about the 13th month, which would be, oh my gosh, and I don't even know how to say this constellation off Finnicus or something like that. So some people say that that should be another zodiac sign because it technically is on the ecliptic, like its foot kind of touches the ecliptic a little bit. And the zodiac signs are the constellations that are on the ecliptic in the sky.
So that's interesting. But which guru is the person who invents that 13th zodiac?
Well,
Fine.
it's always been there,
Yeah.
but it so when they made the 12 signs, like that constellation was there and they intentionally chose not to include it.
Oh,
So they wanted to split the sky into 12 signs, right? Um I don't know. I think it's because its foot kind of like comes in, but it's not like fully in the ecliptic. Um but it's just not part of the system. And this is something that comes up every however many years
interesting.
where people say there's actually supposed to be 13 zodiac signs, and then everybody freaks out and wonders if their zodiac sign is wrong. And
Have you written about that?
no,
Well, there you go. There's your homework.
other astrologers have. Well, so there are some astrologers that are creating systems that do include it. But it's not like a mainstream thing. It's just some astrologers are trying to like do a framework that include that zodiac sign. But if you're going by traditional Vedic or
Hmm.
traditional tropical or whatever, it's just not included. It's not part of the system, which was
Hmm.
intentional. It's not a new discovery. That constellation has always been there. So it's not like a new thing, like, oh, we discovered a new constellation and it's changing things. No, it was there. And if they wanted to include it when they created these systems, they would have.
Hmm.
Right? So it's just not part of the system. And over the thousands of years that people have been doing astrology, they've been interpreting it through the systems that are in place. So,
Hmm. Well, definitely, I'm going to read up on that because that's crazy, crazy interesting. A little bit more on the new moon, and I mean, being Cancer, and usually, like when I do my mediumship readings, I like to schedule them in the window of, which means 2, 3-ish days prior and post of either the new moon or the full moon, because as a Cancer,
yeah.
that's when. That's probably why I was berserk yesterday. Holy crap. I mean, I was buzzing. Even when I went to sleep, I closed my eyes and it's like all this is hum. I'm like, okay, please just let me sleep. Please just let me sleep. But that's usually when I like to schedule my readings, is because when my psychic self is just crazy spot on. But for me, I mean, sometimes the moon phases get me sick or grouchy or headaches or amazing or whatever it is. But this particular window of the new moon, I to me it feels like and based on like what a lot of people are writing on Substack, I feel like it's the time to really step out of your comfort zone, not just a little bit, but leap,
Yes.
run, jump over that cliff, because YOLO, you only live once, and you're not going to know until you try. And if you want to write a book, write a book. If you want to do this, do that. Just do it. Now's your new window,
Oh, yeah.
to do that.
Absolutely.
And when we come to the full moon with full illumination, again, I feel that that's the time to maybe sit back and review what you have progressed in, during that time, to say, now I am in full illumination. What's it look like in my life? What I did in the new moon You have that little time before the full moon, and you have time to reflect of how it's working for you so far.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I really like your take on it.
yeah, and
And
you could twist and turn it and tweak it for the next new moon. And each phase you're like, oh, I tried this, I like it, but it's like, oh no, that was a big mistake. But you can try it and keep going until
yeah,
you nail it. Then once you nail it, you just go full throttle and keep going. Keep
yeah. I don't usually notice the new moon energy. For me, it's always the full moon because I usually have a hard time sleeping. And sometimes it can be a couple days before and after, like the whole week of the new moon. Like
definitely.
my cat will wake me up a couple times in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
He's an indoor outdoor. So,
Mm.
he'll cry until you get up to let him out. And then
Oh,
he'll cry until he's very high maintenance. He'll cry at his food bowl when there's food in it. He just wants you to come and shake it for him because he wants to feel like tended to.
he needs a little TLC.
Yeah. So it's like, whenever there's a full moon, I wake up on my own. My cat wakes
Yeah.
me up. Somebody in my house wakes me up, or my 4-year-old will wake. Like, it's just, I can never sleep
Yeah.
around a full moon. So,
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there was
yeah.
times when, I mean, I don't need a moon app. I could tell by the way I am not sleeping or the way I feel. I'm like, we're in a new moon, or we're really close to a full, and 99% of the time it's right. But
Yeah.
I like to just go to the apps and just to
Well,
validate.
being a Cancer and being a psychic medium, you are probably like highly tuned to the moon cycles.
Crazy. And I just got this when I went to Savannah. I don't know if you guys can see it. See, it's a really super pretty
Oh, that's
moonstone. Yeah, and it's got like a little universe in it if you look at it. And by the way, guys, if you haven't read that creepy post that I did on Savannah, the ghosts I met,
it was
read it.
really good. It was
It's
a really good read.
creepy. I am not going back to Savannah. I don't scare easy. I've seen, hi Sloan. Oh, there's a lot of people here. Didn't Sorry for ignoring you, but we're just chatting here. And so welcome everybody. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Savannah many times, and it takes a lot to rattle me because I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, but it just got to a level of way out of my comfort zone. And that's takes a lot to do that. I'm like, I'm not going. And unfortunately, I kind of have to pass Savannah to get to my in-laws' house when we, so I'm like,
So there's no avoiding it.
it's just going to be a quickie visit to the restaurant that we like. Oh,
Yeah.
Sloan read it. Great story. Yeah. And just, FYI, everything that I post on my publication is free, and it's not fiction. It's all from actual experiences. So, and a lot of it now is being taken from my book, but yeah, but that Savannah this is like the only good thing that can, and this is the moonstone. I just looked at it and my heart just went, I'm like, I don't care what it costs. I don't care. I'm getting it. And so I'm looking at my husband. He's like, yeah, sure, get it. I'm like, yay, thank you. I think I'm shopping, but yeah, no, but when I came home, everything got saged and salted. And I usually don't do that because I am not fear-based. I don't believe in even when I do mediumship readings. I don't do, and I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I know a lot of people do it, and that's fine. Everybody has their own rituals, but every day I surround myself in angels not because of I need protection, because I love them. I love the way they feel. I connect with the quads and Metatron, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel. Those are my quads and Metatron. So those are my
I
five.
just love the name Metatron.
It's cool beans,
It sounds powerful.
Oh, he's a big angel. He's actually an ascended master because he's not like a real angel. He used to be a human, and then he became an angel, and he ascended. So do a little research on Metatron.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. And being a clairvoyant, I see all kinds of angels, and I got to tell you a little story. We have time. I was in my bedroom, and something, I don't know, I was upset, and it takes a lot to make me cry as well. And so I remember I was at the edge of my bed, hand on like this on my knee, crying for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I look down and I see this little toddler, a little boy. And I'm like, who are you? And
Yeah.
he looks up at me. He goes, "Don't cry, mommy." I'm like,
What?
and yeah. I'm like, he goes, "Don't cry, mommy. Everything will be okay." I'm like, and I just started bawling my eyes out because, you know, many 30 years ago I had a miss.
Stop it. Oh, Donna.
So I know, like, look,
Oh,
right? So that's my baby. It's my heaven baby. And he's like,
stop.
"Don't cry, mommy." I'm like,
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
"Oh, sweetheart."
That's
So
so
then what I saw next in my room, this huge, angel wing with my physical eye, because 80% I see,
really.
yeah, I see, and it's starting to like 80% I'll see with my clairvoyant eye, 20 with my physical eye. And I told Spirit, I said, I want to see more with my physical eye. I said it out loud, and I put a period at the end of that sentence. Um, so I'm like, tears are running down my face, and I open up my eyes, and I see this, and I have a fairly big bedroom, high ceiling. This wing had to be 9 feet long by at least 4 feet high. I saw it come into my bedroom door and sweep my entire room and then take the baby away. And I'm like, took my breath away. I'm like, how do I even begin to explain this to it? I don't
Yeah.
think I even wrote about it, but how do I even and you know what? Some of my stories are not meant to be shared because
Right.
there's so many and they're just for me. But yeah, I see angels and heaven babies and all these amazing spirit people. But
Well, that must be a lot for you to have an experience like that and then feel like you can't
yeah,
share or talk it out with someone because people aren't going to understand.
that
That's
is
a lot.
probably my number one peeve about being who I am, because I mean I said to spirit, I'm like, why are you showing me these things and um you know and not letting me be able to share it. And they're like, well, a lot of it is just for you. I'm like, yeah, but it's amazing. I mean, I'm seeing angels. How can I? They're like, well, tell everybody if you can, but it is meant for you. I'm like, no, it's too big for just to be me.
Yeah.
It's too big just to be for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating, to be able to see these things. And actually, you know what? This brings me to another topic. Is on my publication, I think the name of it is Spiritual, at publication, whatever, Substack, whatever. There's actually a very cool story behind the name Spirit Joy. So I need to do a live and share that once because it's way too complicated to talk about, to write about. So, but yeah, I mean, you name it, I experienced it. But again, going back to the angels, those quads and Metatron. Metatron is and each one has a color. I know before we would talk about colors and the color wheel. Each angel has a color, and Metatron is, and it's different for everybody too. But the way he connects with me is if you have a diamond, how or a crystal, and the light hits those refractions, and you see
Yeah.
the, or even like an oil slick, you see the blues and the greens, the pastels. That's like an opal. That's what color Metatron is, to me.
That's
And
crazy that you said opal because when you were showing your moonstone, I almost said that kind of makes me think of opal because it had like little reflections in it.
yeah,
I didn't say it out loud because I was like, no, she said it's a moonstone. I'm not going to say it looks like an opal. And now you're saying opal. So
and it's funny. I felt that you were thinking that. I know that sounds stupid, but I didn't say anything, and that's why I said moonstone, not opal. I mean, I just,
that is so funny.
yeah. I mean, I'm reading your
Yeah.
mind.
But it doesn't freak me out, Donna. I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would not buy opal because opal is one crystal gem, whatever it is, that I will not wear because,
Really?
yeah, I mean, my mom used to have a beautiful opal ring, and every time she wore it, something really bad happened. And she went up throwing it away, and it was big and gold. I'm like, Mom, where is, I don't know, it disappeared. I'm like, you threw it away, didn't you? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you can't lie to me. I know. She's like, I don't know what happened. I lost it. I'm like, okay.
I
But
had one when I was a kid and I lost it too. Like I didn't even get much chance to wear it before
well,
that.
that's probably a good thing.
You know what I've heard? I don't know if it's true. I haven't looked into it at all, but I've heard because opal is a birthstone and I'm not even sure which month it is.
Well, I don't know.
But I've heard that if you wear an opal and it's not your birthstone, that it's bad luck. Is that what it
I
is?
just said that the same time you did. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I wasn't going to say it because I know some people here are saying, "Oh shit, I have an opal now. Now I'm not going to wear it." I mean,
Oh,
I cut
somebody commented the same thing.
Sloan.
That is
Yep,
so funny. I love how we're all on the same wavelength.
it's a thing. I'm telling you, gemstones have like this is a ruby. Cancer. It's my birthstone, but it's red. It's grounding because I am usually always in the higher chakras. I need red or black just to. As soon as I look at it, it's like. It's a visual, an instant visual to ground me. You were talking about grounding, I think, in one of your lives recently, with Amy, perhaps.
Yeah.
And there's a million ways to ground. And thanks for the hearts. And color. I'm going back to color. It's one of them. Red, and black. And a lot of people are afraid of black, but black is a very solid, grounding color as well. But red, the second I look at it, it's like. Grounded.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I'm just feeling like everybody's ditching their opals right now. That's so funny. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about time. Got a little freaked out this morning. Time is a weird. I don't like the word entity because that's like, feels like very low vibrational to me. But it's a creature. It's a weird thing because it's constantly moving. We talked about the reset before, and you said, what, reset now? I'm like, no, back in 2019, and then you brought that word reset to present time. So here, time just made a figure 8. I woke up this morning at 4:04. My husband leaves at 4:30 for work, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'm just gonna go back. I was so cozy, and the house was cool. It felt, and I laid on my back, which I normally don't do. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh, what am I going to talk about, with Lindsay today? And, I'm thinking and thinking. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll, go over to my side, and I go to lean over where my clock was, and it was nearly 6:00. And I'm like, and I put my glasses on. I'm like, no, I go, literally, it was 4:04, and maybe it was just 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours.
I've experienced that recently. That's crazy.
What is that?
I don't know.
What kind of sorcery is that? I mean, what the hell?
Well, it's really interesting to me to hear that other people are experiencing that because, we know these things are real, right? But sometimes I still question, like, am I just crazy? So it's nice to get that
on some level,
confirmation.
I think we are.
Yeah, it's nice to get the confirmation from other people sometimes. But so my experience was I was, scrolling my Substack because that's a very popular thing that I do these days. I'm always scrolling my Substack.
Same.
And it felt like I looked at the clock and I'm scrolling and it felt like a significant amount of time had gone by. So I look at the clock again and it was the same exact time to the minute. Like literally no time had gone by. Less than 59 seconds. And then I'm scrolling and it felt like no time had gone by and I just happened to look at the clock again and now 4 minutes had gone by. It felt like that. And I'm like, what in the world is happening right now?
And then once in a while, it goes backwards. I mean, once in a while, like maybe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it, like I said, doesn't happen often. But I would look at the time, 2:00, whatnot, and it was just fairly recent. And then I look at the clock again, and it was prior. I don't remember how far back, but it was not like a minute or two. It was like an hour or two. I'm like,
whoa.
I'm like, where did I go? What happened in that time? You know what? Years ago, and again, my spirit had told me this. So stupid even to say it out loud, but they said, through meditation, and I don't meditate, like this. I used to when I started out, but now it's just, I'll just sit here and just close my eyes and just like that, I get in the zone. And then I heard, you're going to walk between realms. I'm like, oh, cut that crap. I go, what is that? Don't give me that boogity boo stuff. I don't, I'm very scientific. So any experiences that I have, I try to debunk them. But I'm like, walking between realms, what does that even mean? Well, lo and behold, as I as I wait and I experience things. Yeah, so I'm going to share a little story with you that someone's like, what? Yeah. And
Yeah.
so thank you so much for always joining these lives. I appreciate you so much, and everybody here. Thank you so much. Okay, here's a story that, no, it's not a story. It actually happened. I'm in my bedroom taking a little nap because I get up really early and I stay up really late. So being 63, in the midday, I have to, take some time out and just stop, try to at least. So I'm in my room, I'm like, lay down just for 20 minutes. That liminal space between awake and
Yes.
sleep,
Yes.
magic happens.
It really
So
does.
I'm sitting there, lying there, and I sense, something next to me. I'm like, oh no. And if you guys just, I just did a article called Rules and Regulations for the Spirit World. You have to read that because, I mean, I literally had to write on a piece of paper to the spirit world. It's a contract, what you cannot do if you want to work with me. And one of them was, you're not allowed in my bedroom when I'm sleeping. Just, I need to rest. I need to. So
They do that a lot.
yeah. So, I mean, read the article because
I will.
anybody who's here, because once I wrote that, it's just literally stopped, and until like I think the next day or two, I heard a man's voice. I didn't mention this in the article, and I'm not going to forget my original story that I wanted to tell you about, but it kind of like split. That my husband was traveling, and I hear a man's voice saying hi. So I just rolled over to the other side of the bed, grabbed my gun, locked and loaded, and I'm like by the door. I'm like, just go ahead, walk in. And it was just the face of my past uncle. I'm like, I put the gun down. I did think I think I did a post the day I almost shot a ghost. So that was it. But
So did you hear it like with your physical ears?
yes,
That is crazy.
it was just hi, man's voice. That's why I rolled over and got my gun. I'm like, there's a man in my house that should not be.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I look at him like, what? I say, why are you come in? Why are you by the door, the threshold? He goes, well, because you told us not to come into your bed. I'm like,
Oh,
it worked. I'm like, wow.
that
And
is so cool.
it worked. So anyway, so that's it. So going back to walking between realms. So I'm lying there kind of in a fuzzy state, and I sensed something next to me. I'm like, oh no, I'm in my bedroom resting. You're not supposed to be here. I'm like, sometimes angels just do that, not spirit people, and they're allowed to because they're angels. So kind of look, and if you look with your, if you keep looking straight, and this goes with seeing spirit people as well, and you see something on your sights on the side, don't ever turn your head and look at them because it's going to disappear. I know that now, but you can look forward and you can still see them, but don't look directly, at it. So then I just see this big, big sparkly, shiny white thing. I'm like, ooh. I said, that's not a spirit person. And I go through my checklist senses. What's it look like? What's it feel like? What's it smell like? Do I feel safe? Is it okay to proceed? And once I got a yes, 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 then I address it. I'm like, okay, who are you and what do you want? And they said, come with me. We're going to go for a walk. I'm like, oh no. I said, I'm not walking anywhere with you.
I'm not going with you.
I'm sitting right here. So then I went deeper into my senses and I felt safe. I'm like, okay, I'm in my bedroom. I go, I'm safe. I'm not going to get zapped out to Pluto or somewhere. So then what's interesting, and this is where it goes back to my original story of experience of walking between realms. I get up out of my bed to follow this light, but yet I turn around and I see my body still lying on the bed.
Oh.
And this has happened several times. So I'm like, okay, so my physical body is there, but my spiritual body, etheric body, is able to project on demand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just going out of my comfort zone and I'm doing this. I know I'm safe. I know I have my team, my spirit with me, my team. So we walked down my hallway and into the bonus room, which is just a catch-all room. And I'm standing there. I'm like, okay. And I still see this light next to me. I'm like, okay. And then I hear from the spirit, think of somebody that you want to meet. This person could be dead or alive. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to, I mean, I already talked to my dead people, so let's talk to somebody who's alive.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It was one of the actors from, I don't even know his name. That show Supernatural with the two
Yes.
brothers,
Yes.
the
My
cute one.
husband and my son love that show.
I love it. I love it.
We've watched the whole series multiple times.
Same. And what is that one? Jason, I don't even know his name, but the two good looking guys, and they do Ghost and everything, so it's very exciting. I'm like, well, I would like to meet one of the guys. I forgot his Jason.
Dean?
I don't know. I don't know who it was.
I know it's Sam and Dean. I don't know their real names.
Yeah, and Dean, I think it was. So anyway, so yeah, I'd like to meet him. He's a good actor. I like the show. And so this energy says, okay, visualize him standing right in front of you. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of visualized, and he appeared.
Yeah.
And now this is strange because it's not my physical body seeing it, because my physical body is still in my bedroom, but I saw an image of him standing in front of me. And I'm like, ooh, he's a nice looking guy. So
Right.
this spirit thing says, they said, go ahead and touch him. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing anything appropriate. Nope, I'm out of here. And then I heard, no, touch him on the shoulder, Donna. I'm like, okay. So I it's all trust. This journey goes nowhere unless you have trust in mediumship, dealing with angels, and you have to have full-blown trust. So then I take my hand, and like I'm facing this way, and he was, facing, and he had no shirt on. So I just touch his shoulder, and then I see him do that. I'm like, and I felt warm skin. I'm like, what was that? Then I hear,
Yeah.
Then I heard, did you ever, go about your day and feel like you got touched on the shoulder and you just did that? He goes, well, you just did that. And so think of all the times that you feel like maybe a tug, or you feel like somebody touched your shoulder and you're like, oh, I could touch by an angel. Really think of that experience and what that is. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is a lot for me to process. Next thing I knew,
really cool.
Yeah. So next thing I knew, I'm back into my body, and I sit up. I'm like, what was that? And he goes, that's walking between realms. I'm like, all right.
So that's like a spiritual lesson you got in your sleep that you were conscious of and you were able to remember.
Clearly.
So cool.
It's crazy. So, I mean, there was other things like walking between realms and astral projection, all other stuff, but it's just a wild experience, and it goes into the category. Yeah, it's one of those things that I hesitate to share. Well, here I'm on live, on Substack, you're sharing these crazy things,
Well, I think here it's all people that like at least somewhat believe in it and want to hear about it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's crazy. Can I share a story? And
Yes.
I think I've said this to you in the notes before, but I just would like your take on it because this is a very, very vivid memory I have from my childhood. And this, I think, is the only time I've seen things with my physical eyes. I've seen things like very few times in my mind's eye. I don't see it a lot. There's a few times, but as a child, and it was, I think, like primarily at my dad's. I think there was some spooky stuff going on there. But I would never let him make me sleep by myself. He always had to sleep with me because I always felt like there were things around me there that scared me. I always felt like I had to cover my neck when I was sleeping. And just this overwhelming feeling that something was there, and it was an uneasy feeling.
Mm.
So I would lay there in the pitch dark, and I would just keep my eyes wide open looking around, and I would kind of see, it was never like a solid image, but I would see energy, I think, in the darkness up here. But then I would see, if I kept my eyes open long enough, I would see these like neon electric pink confettis coming down, and they looked so real that I would literally try to catch them, and I would look in my hands.
Mm.
And so now this is like late 80s, early 90s, right? So my dad had water beds. So when he's in the bed with me and I'm going like that, it's
Yeah.
shaking the whole waterbed, and he'd be like, Lindsay, stop it. Like, what are you doing?
Oh.
And I'm like, you don't see that? And he's like, what are you talking about? Go to sleep, right? So so I knew nobody else could see it. And he didn't know what I was talking about, but I still couldn't help it that I would always try to catch them because that's how real they looked to me. And my dad would always get annoyed that I would wake him up and be like, Lindsay, knock it off.
Hmm.
So I'm just wondering what's up with that, Donna.
Well, I'm okay. What I'm getting is that you felt that it was like a little uneasy. So
Mhm.
I mean, again, it's just my opinion. Did you ask who it was, or were you too young to do that?
I didn't really have a good understanding, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my guides told me, and at the time I didn't know it was my guides. I probably thought it was my own idea. But just knowing what I know now, I think it was my guides telling me to envision my blanket being a protective barrier. And it worked as far as making me feel safe.
Okay. What I think that may have been is an experience of, because right again, in that time when you're sleeping in that space of just drifting, your body, your spiritual body projects out. And there's a tether, there's a line. I've seen it in many of my experiences. Mine is like silvery white, but it could be pink, it could be bright, but it might have been the start of your body trying to project out to go to a dream realm. I feel that it was not a boogeyman, that it was your experience of starting your astral projection, which is weird because sometimes, when you get that jolt, when you sleep at night, that is your physical body is not quite done falling asleep, but your astral body already is trying to get out and it's like all screwed up. So that's that jolt, you're like back. Sometimes, like a lot of times I hear loud claps in my bedroom, and that is as my body leaves, my spiritual body leaves my body, it actually makes a sound. Or in your case, you saw colors, these beautiful beads that were probably starting to
It was
to
like confetti,
yeah.
like if somebody popped a popper and confetti
Yeah, yeah.
coming
I
down.
think it was, I mean, just my guess, just my gut feeling that it was the start of your body wanting to go to the
In
dream.
between worlds.
Yes.
Wow. That
Yeah.
makes sense because even in my adult experiences, whenever I felt like my guides, and I just call them my guides because, like you said, I don't really
Right.
know exactly what they
Yeah.
are. So that's just the most general way I can
Yeah.
say it. But yeah, whenever I feel like they're kind of pushing me faster than what I'm ready for, or they're trying to show me too much that I'm not like, I get that same scared feeling. Not that necessarily I think anything scary is happening. I'm
Right.
not ready.
Yeah.
So looking back to my childhood, that definitely could have been that scary,
Yeah,
that
definitely.
unknown, that scary unknown feeling.
Yeah. And it's hard to process and understand, but I've said this, I think, several times in the things I write. We are, even in mediumship, we are always in control. And I've come across some spirit people who had attitudes. And I'm like, no, you can't speak to me that way. You can't act that way. And if you're going to be, rambunctious and a knucklehead, then I'm not talking to you. And you have to find another medium to talk to your loved one. So there you go. How do you like them apples? But you know, just remember that we are always in control of what it is that we experience. If you see too many things, you tell your team, your guides, whatever, say, you know what, this is too much for me. A lot of people visualize like a dial and turn things down. Or you could turn it up, say, bring it, or you can turn it up.
And
And
in my experience, they do listen. I've
yeah,
had to tell them to back off, and immediately they did. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a time when I'm seeing past people and angels and all kinds of things. This is back in 2014 when I just started exploding. I mean, I've been doing this my whole life, but in 2014, everything hit the fan. I'm like, and I would be sitting here on my computer, and I'm like, no, go away. No. I'm trying to work. And so I said, listen, guys, I go, this is all fine and dandy, but it's a little bit too much. Take it a little bit slower, just turn it down. And my husband, I mentioned this to several people, he's so vanilla, he's just so,
Same.
I'm like, hey,
my husband is too.
I said, guess what I say? He's like, and he's looking at me like, and I give him the real, like plain version, like the walking between realms. No, I would never tell him that one.
Well, because then you'll lose them, right? You have to keep it a little bit on their level of understanding.
He doesn't understand. That's like him he works on airplanes. That's like him saying, oh, I worked on this, airplane, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, not only am I not interested, I don't understand anything that you're saying. So he doesn't understand my world. I don't understand his, but we coincide.
Yeah. So my husband is a welder, a mechanic. He works on trucks. He does stuff like that. So that he kind of compares it, like when I'm trying to like blab a bunch of astrology to him that he understands, he'll kind of jokingly start blabbing a bunch of like truck part things to me. And he's like, you get it? Like, and I'm like, okay, fine.
You know what we forgot to do?
What?
Cards. Great big cards.
I just want to say one more thing about my dad's old apartment where I experienced that. So like years ago, I talked to a psychic and she described a scene for me. She said, so I have an aunt that passed away before I was born. So I never met her, but I always felt, it's going to make me emotional. I always felt a strong connection to her. So the psychic is like describing this scene to me when I was a child. She's like, you're sitting there playing. There's like a little dollhouse and little figurines. And she's like, it's like a box, but it's not wood. And, she just did a really good job of explaining it, but she wasn't really sure what it was that I was playing with. Well, my dad had given me this big cardboard box, and I put my little barn in there and all my little figurines, and I painted all the inside to be, the sun and the clouds and the flowers.
What color did you paint it?
Well, it was like a scene. So there was like green grass and there was the sun and stuff like that. And so I put all my stuff in the little box to be my little world, and I played in that. So she was having a hard time explaining it, but she's like, it's not wood, but it's like wood. And she was definitely, I figured out what she was talking about, and I know it was that. And so once I confirmed to her what it was that she was seeing, and she's like, well, your aunt was there with you watching you play that. And it was in that apartment where I always felt all the weird things. Yeah. And so my dad moved out of there. And so it was a triple decker. We have triple deckers around here. So it's like 3 apartments, just 3 single apartments stacked on top of each other. We were on the 3rd floor. So when my dad moved, immediately after he moved, just the 3rd floor apartment burned down. And when they fixed it, they didn't rebuild the 3rd floor apartment. They just made it the 2 bottom apartments. And I just thought that was wild and symbolic. I think it was very intentional, obviously, that it didn't happen while we were still there. But I think it was also like, we're closing this portal now that you guys are gone. Like nobody else is gonna. I don't know if you have any insight into that, but I reflect back on that apartment a lot because
what? I just wrote down while you were talking. That's why I asked what color was it, because I wrote down yellow and I saw yellow slippers. Now, excuse me. Now, in mediumship readings, they work in puzzles. Like they'll show me yellow slippers. I'm like, oh, she wore yellow slippers. No, she did not.
No, I didn't.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, then I had to say, okay, well, can you just tell me what's, with the yellow slippers instead of, you have to be like a psychic detective. Now, when you think of, I just got chills. When you think of slippers, it's comfort, it's home, it's being able to slip into something that you feel comfortable with. Yellow represents sunshine and the warmth and like a very loving, warm color. So, I mean, I literally like wrote it down here, like yellow slippers, yellow slippers. And I knew it just wasn't slippers, but it just represents what yellow represents, and slippers, like I just said, comfort. But so she was comforting to you, and you guys had a warmth. That's how these mediumship readings develop, where she would give a color, and you would have to pull out, well, what does this mean to me? Well, it's warm. It's like a hug. It's like an embrace. It's like a close relationship. It's not like a cool color like a blue or like a purple. These are warm colors, which represent love and comfort. So in just like a split second as you were talking, that's the only thing that I picked up, was just that she was just warm and comforting. You had that type of relationship, well, now in the spirit realm, but you said she passed before you were born.
Yeah.
They don't, I hate saying this, they don't die, because she still has that warm, cozy relationship with you, and everything that you do, wherever you go, she is still there. And I know this for a fact, because the readings that I've done, I've seen these crazy things. And I mentioned since several lives, like a top hat. A grandmother showed me a top hat. I'm like, that's ridiculous. But the girl, she says, well, my groomsmen wore top hats at their wedding. And grandma had died long before she got married. So your aunt is still there. But through color and just showing me slippers, she's like, tell her that I feel that warmth from her. Tell her that I'm always there comforting her. This is what slippers do. When you put your feet into slippers, like, oh, this feels so good. That is the energy that she's portraying to you.
Yeah.
And I just got chills. I wish you could see chills, these goosies, but.
Like, God, I don't want to cry on the live.
Oh my gosh. But,
no, I felt that, Donna. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, just in just a split second, quick image. And I have a whole book of these symbols. I'm like, okay, what does this mean? And then this is where you go right into your scent. This is why it's so very important as a medium or person or anything, to the chakras and the clairs. I teach classes on it. You have to. I do it every day. Just zone on, so you can get this information. I mean, sometimes a slipper is a slipper, but it's like, nope, I feel like it's more. And then I just saw a hug and the warmth, and yellow is a primary color. She is a primary in your life, so it just goes on just from 2 words. I could just talk probably half an hour about just those 2 words, slippers and yellow.
Donna, that's really cool how you get
this. Just simple stuff. But I just, we're on an hour. Do you still have a little more time?
Yep.
Just a few. Okay. I wrote down some things that I wanted to touch base with. Even this morning when I got into Substack, I wrote I put some goofy graphic on, black and white graphic, and I'm like, trying to get my thoughts. I'm like, where do I start? That was on my mind. Then I go to the Substack feed, and I forgot who she was. I apologize for not remembering the name. Her first words were, start here, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know what those coincidences mean. From what I understand, it means that you are where you're supposed to be in the consciousness, where you pick up on things or words, and you're in the right place at the right time, and to be able to experience that, because it's freaky, it's to the point, like my husband and I would be watching TV, and I would say the word banana or some strange word like card, and they say it a split second later on TV. And my husband at first was like looking at me like, what kind of witch are you? I'm like, hey, you knew this when you married me, so
Oh, that's awesome.
But anyway, so I did see yesterday was so intense that I'm surprised I'm not wiped out today, because usually when I have a high voltage day like yesterday, I am wiped today. It's not, I'm fine. But I did see, and I drew a picture of it, like a square, and I'm like, all right, what is that? Clairvoyant. I'm like, I saw a square, and I saw the arrows go out to each corner. Each corner represents north, south, east, west. Each compass point represents a suit, whether it's cups or hearts. It represents a color and represents an angel. And it's doing this, like if you stand in this one spot in the center of a square, and you're like, okay, where do I feel? You have to know your compass points in the world. Where's north, south, east, and west. But where is my body guided to. I feel like I want to go to this direction. Why? Perhaps this is south, and it's Archangel Michael, and it's the color red, and it's about fire and passion. And what does that translate to in tarot? Fire. I think clubs, right? I think clubs. No, clubs is the suit, but in tarot, clubs like for example, spades. Doesn't spades, swords, right, represent swords?
I think so, but I'm not good at that.
Yeah, well, it's I don't do tarot.
I do tarot, but I don't know playing cards.
Well, they translate. Each suit represents something in the tarot. Like the cups, I know is the same as hearts. Yeah. So they're kind of the same, but different. And these are actually how I started, doing readings, which is regular playing cards. I just picked it up one day because I'm part gypsy, and I just picked it up one day, and it's like, and people think I'm playing solitaire because I usually bring my cards with me in my purse, and I wind up doing readings. But anyway, it's I was shown that using that square, standing in the center, knowing your compass points, it's like it's kind of like a physical, what is my message for today? And you use your body as the needle and the compass. Where do I feel like I want to be? What compass point? And what is that compass point? Is it east? Is it new beginnings? Is it Archangel Raphael? What are my new beginnings, and what color is this? And that is just pull that message throughout the day. It's like pulling a card, but you're using a body and compass points, for it.
Kind of like your body is the pendulum.
Pretty much.
That is cool.
That too. Yeah. Yeah, that too. But can you pull some cards? Because I know that you do, because we're coming up on, like, we are at an hour. I think that I covered like all the points that I wanted to talk about today. And I just want to do a little bit of cards. And I have just a regular, I think they're called bicycle, just regular cards. I actually collect them. I have like dozens in containers. Wherever I go, I just pick up cards.
My favorite is the classic Rider-Waite tarot, but I also have like a fairy version of the tarot that I just recently pulled back out. So
Which one? Let me see that again. Which one is that?
It's Doreen Virtue before she decided that tarot was evil.
You know what? Because I just found these and I never used them. And
that is funny.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. These are beautiful.
They are beautiful
cards.
Yeah. And I just never.
All right, fine. I'll use these instead of my regular tarot.
And I found them because we're moving in a year to the mountains, and I'm going through all my stuff. I'm like, oh, why did I never use them? They're beautiful. I just didn't resonate with the fairies, although I've seen them with my physical eye in my backyard. I just don't resonate with fairies.
You've seen them with your physical eye, Donna? Stop it. That is so cool.
Okay, yes, Sloan, it's story time with Donna. Do you have like another second for a story? Yeah, I've seen fairies. I was in my backyard, and I said, okay. I have a beautiful garden in here, where I live in North Carolina, in Charlotte. And I'm like, okay, fairies, I know you're there, and I know you have a tendency to have a little attitude. So with respect, I go, I would like to meet you. I know that they like snacks and shiny things. They like gifts. Yeah. So I got blueberries and some costume jewelry, earrings.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
It gets better. And so my husband and I just did our garden, new mulch. The flowers were beautiful. I'm like, okay, I made this garden not only for myself and my family, but for you, because fairies like nature. They are in gardens, garden fairies. And so I took these blueberries and some costume jewelry, and I put them underneath a hosta or something. And I go, these are for you. These are a gift for me to show my respect to you. These are for you. And I left them there. And I went the next morning, and the blueberries were moved along. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like I said, I'm very scientific. I debunk everything. I'm like, a creature came in. I was like, oh, blueberries, I'm going to eat them. I'm like, fine. And so I did that. I came back the next day, and most of the blueberries were gone. The jewelry was moved a bit. But then I looked like 5 feet away on fresh mulch by a spigot. Well, it was like 2 feet from the wall, was a beautiful white, pure white rock just sitting there. And I'm looking, and I still have it. It's like, over there somewhere. I'm like, and it was just, and we just put fresh mulch down, that orange, with the cedar. There's no way that there's a white rock, pure white, this big, would have gotten there because, I'm surrounded by trees and stuff. Nobody could have put it there. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, thank you for that gift. I gave you a gift. You gave me a gift. Then no sooner did I say that I looked down and these 2 white orbs, each one was this big. They looked like comets, swooshed out of underneath the plants right by me. And I literally did that because they were like 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
But they didn't look like little fairies like everybody else thinks they are. They were white orbs with a long tail. They looked like comets, and they just swooshed right by me. I looked at them and I just, watched them go by. I'm like, well, thank you for that. We just met. So those were the garden fairies.
Wow. Yeah. And so I didn't actually say it, but I was thinking it when I was talking about the neon pink confetti. Even back then, before I really knew a whole lot I was thinking fairies. Because it's just the twinkling confetti. I don't know. It reminded me of Tinkerbell's like pixie dust. But it was like neon pink. Like
it could be. I mean, it's what you feel in your gut. Now, the only other time I ever saw neon pink was when it was 2014 and I was like out of my skin, full blown, my senses and everything were crazy wild. That I had this weird experience with Egypt and all kinds of stuff. And I had to go to my mentor so she could explain some of it to me. And we were sitting there. She was sitting in front of me. We were knee to knee. And she was super spooky. She was able to link up to your thoughts. She was that type of person because she was able to see what I saw. She was witchery like that. But I'm talking to her. I had, my eyes were closed and I'm telling her about my experience. My hands are going. Then my hands went in front of my eyes and they were neon pink. Oh. I'm like, it's like, oh my God, I can see my hands through my closed eyes. I'm like, can you see that? She goes, yes, Donna, I can see that. She goes, you have healing hands. I'm like, no. I go, but my eyes are closed, right? She's like, yes, Donna, your eyes are closed. I'm like, but I can see my hands. They're neon pink. She's like, yes, Donna, your hands are neon pink. But that's the only time. I don't know what neon pink represents. In that case, I understand it to be an energy. This is why I suggested to you that it was your energy body starting to project. It's related to energy. That's the only way that I can validate what that might have been. Mm-hmm. So
I've heard that, and you're the perfect person to ask this. I've heard that neon pink is like one of the highest vibrational colors. Is that true?
Actually, purple is pink is just in the family of red, which is the base chakra. So just because it's neon doesn't make it may be higher, higher frequency, but it is in the hue of red. Red is the root chakra, which is a base chakra. But when you get up to the purples and the violets, they're the crown chakra, which is higher in frequency and vibration.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe because I was feeling unsafe.
Well, I mean, it was
It was almost like grounding in a way. Maybe.
When you saw the pink?
Yeah.
Pink, well, I mean, you were young. That's scary stuff to see. So I would understand that to be, unsettling. I mean, nobody knows it better than I do. When I see stuff, it's like, what was that? And unless you have and it's like you can't go to Google and say, what does it mean when I see pink?
I know.
You can't do that.
Well, no, I was excited when I saw the neon pink confetti, but I mean, like that was happening in the space and time where I was feeling unsafe, feeling these other energies around me. So maybe it was some form of comfort.
You know what? And again, there's a lot going on in that moment of time for you. Those energies, there's spirit people around us constantly. Yes. So, I mean, there could have been, again, you were in that liminal relaxing state. So you are intuitive, clairvoyant enough to see and sense that. And it's scary because, until you say, oh yeah, I've seen that before. I know what it is. When you first see it, it's like, what is that and why is that?
Well,
So it's scary.
I worked really, really hard to shut it down when I was a kid because
Yeah.
it was so scary. And I think it like started coming back open for me when I married my husband. So he was in the army, and so we live in the Northeast, right? And he was in the army, so he was stationed in Kansas. So there's something about being in Kansas. I think also my husband coming into my life was a major shift for me because he made me feel safe in a way that I never had before. Um, but there's astrocartography in astrology where wherever you are is a different energy for you astrologically. It's like much more complicated. So I won't get
I'm
into
sure.
but I was closer, I think, to my Jupiter line. And so I also questioned if I had a past life in that area because my spiritual awakening that I had in Kansas was ridiculous. That's where I first found yoga and meditation
Mm.
and stuff like that. And I had these like crazy, crazy experiences there. That's where I had to tell my guides to back off. I feel like my guides knew there was an opening there and they were like, they
That's what you
wanted
do.
to get the most of that
Yep,
time.
yep,
And
yep.
so this was also 2016. This was also before COVID. And I think they were just trying to like prepare me and wake me up and open those channels again to communicate with me. But it was like very intense. Sorry. I don't know how I got off on that tangent.
No, yeah, no, that makes total sense because I mean, and this is why children, I mean, children are open to all this the second that they're, born, and they see all these things and experience these colors and angels and whatever, the imaginary friends, and eventually it goes away
Yeah.
because mom would say, are you talking to your imaginary friend again? Or they get made fun at school because they share the stories and they get shut down. So this is why children, like, they're afraid and they block it and they put it on the back burner. Um, you know, and then later on in life, after you do the family thing, and like in my case, I never had imaginary friends. None of this happened before I was 10 years old. And then
Oh,
when I was 10 years old, then everything came in very quickly. And as soon as that happens, I feel that there's something that opens up and the
mhm.
spirit world says, there you are. I see you. Let's do this. And they take you for a ride. They just
The
like,
wild ride.
we're grabbing her. And I mean, when I was 10, I got measles really, really, really bad. I almost died. I was sick for 2 months and all kinds of stuff. And it was only after that that the dreams happened and I started seeing things and ESP and lucid dreaming. And I was 10. So I thought everybody had this, but
Yeah. Do we have
but
time for me to share one more experience?
yes,
Okay.
I'm going nowhere.
So
So I know you have another live to do today. And as far as our guests here, thank you everybody for being here. I don't mean to ignore you, but we're just chatting about fun stuff.
so I haven't seen many things, even in my mind's eye. So I don't have a whole lot of these experiences. But so while I was in Kansas, I saw something in my living room. So I had a friend that was murdered after Hurricane Katrina, like in the aftermath,
Mm.
while I was in college. And while I was in college, I had a friend who had one of her friends was murdered down in Florida like the year before. So her and I really kind of like bonded over, being able to relate with each other, like with what we were going through. So the story of her friend was like particularly awful.
Mm.
So it stuck with me and it's something I kind of reflected on off and on over the years. And so and this was years before. So once I moved to Kansas, it was just one of those times that it was coming up for me and I was reflecting on it. And my husband was gone training for a couple weeks. So it's just me and my toddler's sleeping. Like all my family's back home, like I'm by myself in Kansas. And I see, like in my mind's eye, this guy or this kid standing at the edge of my hallway, but he wasn't like aware. He wasn't looking at me. He wasn't talking. He wasn't moving. His eyes were wide. His head was kind of like pulled back and he was just looking down. But it's almost like he was like frozen in that state. So I don't feel like he was like consciously there. I felt like it was almost like I was seeing like an imprint.
Residual energy.
Um,
Maybe. Let me hear the rest of the story.
and so like I had looked up the story before online, but I had never really dove deep into it. But because I felt like that's because it was 5 people that were killed along with my friend's friend. So I was like, I think that's one of them. And I looked it up and I found the pictures of all the victims, and it was the youngest of them.
Do you know how he passed?
So it was called the Xbox Murders. So these guys were squatting in this girl's grandparents' home, and she was moving down there to stay in that home, so she had to call the cops and have them removed. And he, I guess, had left behind an Xbox that she got rid of. So he just kind of spiraled and felt like she was disrespecting him and took something that belonged to him. So him and 2 of his friends went in the middle of the night and just killed everyone that was in the home.
Oh, God.
It was horrific.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes those visits are the actual people that have been in our lives trying to communicate, with you. But sometimes it's residual energy that is just an imprint, and you just caught a glimpse of it. But I don't know how that person would relate to being in your home.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of was that he knew that I was giving it attention, that I was thinking about it, that I was
connecting with them.
Because it's just something that had such a big impact on me. Yeah. And every now and then over the years, I would really kind of like sit with it and just, I don't know, it just had a big impact on me because it was
definitely, I would say so. I mean, based on the experiences that I've had with people who have passed, there's earthbounds, there's residual energy, and there's actual ghost/spirit people that, wait a minute, just residual that is just like a movie playing over and over. They're not actually there, but you happen to see an imprint of what was. And then there's actual ghosts. Now, the imprints, the residual energy, you can't communicate with because they're not actually there. It's just like an imprint. Now, the actual spirit people, right? See, with my physical eye, again, I was in my room trying to take a rest, and I see this god awful hag appear in front of me. And I'm like, okay, is this residual energy? Is this the ghost? Am I dreaming? Am I awake? I had to go through the checklist. And she was actually communicating with me. So I knew she wasn't residual. She wasn't just like locked in one place. Because sometimes if they're just locked in one place, they don't move. They're not actually there. So different from what you experienced, did I get startled? Yeah, I'm like, whoa, Jesus. I said, what are you doing? And she's like, she's all haggy looking. I was like, okay, this is a spirit person. She's earthbound. She's horsing around with me. And that's not cool. She broke a rule. I am in my room. She was not supposed to be there. So I stopped. I'm like, okay, how am I going to handle this? I don't know who this is. She's not supposed to be here. And she's trying to scare me. So I said, you know what? I go, I see you. And I go, you know what? I see what you look like now, but I'm like, you know what? I think back in the day that you were really beautiful. I could see you with your long, beautiful hair, and you liked to wear makeup, and you had beautiful clothes. I go, didn't you? As I was having this conversation with her, through telepathy, her image changed. Wow. She went from a hag, again, I just got chills.
I have goosebumps all over my body.
I know that happens. So she went from a scary hag to a beautiful woman. I'm like, there you go.
Most people, I think, Donna, would not be able to handle that experience without going crazy, because I could barely handle seeing something that was not moving or talking.
I know, Lindsay, I've been doing this for 6 decades.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after a while, you're like, okay, what are we doing here? But, where your case, where you could not communicate to what you saw, because it wasn't, he was not really there, but maybe just slightly in a spirit or in a memory or the thought that you had. This hag, she actually was right in front of me, and she changed. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. I go, you're northbound. And I go, what are you doing? Are you trying to scare me? She's like, yeah. I'm like, it's not gonna work. I go,
Why do
it's
they
not,
do that?
because it's fun. These are earthbounds, and this is what they do. This is fun. Some people
Well,
like to
that's
go,
rude.
yeah. So I said, listen, I go, I don't know your name, but you're not going to scare me. And this is kind of funny. I said, but this is not cool. I go, you're scaring people. I go, I said, why don't you go somewhere else in the world and scare people? It's not nice, but if that's what you want to do, that's your right. She's like, okay, fine. I'm going to go scare somebody else. I'm like, fine, then you do that. If that's what you want to do, then you go do that. And
And does she know like who can potentially see her or not? Like, would she know who to target?
I can't really answer that, but
Yeah.
most people would run for the hills when they saw that, and she'd be like, yeah, I scared the shit out of them. This is great. But it doesn't work for me. I'm like,
So you're
okay.
no fun.
I'm no fun. Because I can see them, and I take it one step further with my senses. I'm like, okay, what do you do? These are just people. Like, I'm talking to you. This is how I talk to spirit people. I'm like, what are you doing? I go, why? I'm trying to nap here. I mean, why are you doing that? I go, you know what? And then that's when I had the conversation. I'm like, you know what? You are a beautiful woman. I said, and I understand you want to have fun. That's your business, but not here. Go somewhere else. And she just left. Yeah. But.
Well, see, Donna, this is why we can call you an expert.
Oh, well, I guess. I don't know. It's just, it's just so much fun, talking to, I actually prefer, other than you, of course, to talk to the spirit people, because it just, sometimes the energy I feel of like a lot of people around me, it's just, I love solitude. When I go to them, I need solitude, because it's just the energy around me. It's too much for my body. And I said to my guides, I'm like, okay, you guys have to help me. I go, I cannot go out in public without experiencing or feeling or seeing. I go, what can I do? And they said, okay, get a aquamarine crystal. And I didn't have any aquamarine. And I go, okay, what does that do? They said, well, aquamarine is like water. So when you wear that crystal, visualize a waterfall and stand behind it. This way that you can see what's in front of you, but it stops right there because you're behind a waterfall. I'm like, it gets filtered through the water. I'm like, oh, so you can see or feel some stuff if you want. Otherwise, it can't get past through the waterfall. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
So there was a question. So
I didn't see any questions. What happened here?
She said, so what you see doesn't move. It is residual energy, and if it moves, it's an earth.
How come I'm not seeing these questions? Uh-oh. Okay, well, apparently my scroll is not working. What's the question?
So Sloan asked, if what you see doesn't move, is it residual energy? And if it moves, it's an earthbound spirit.
I apologize for not seeing the question because I can't see it here on my stack. That is a trick question, because here again, Sloan, you have to, this is where your senses would come in. I've seen things in my house that are not moving, but they are there. And then I'm able to interact with them. And then there's things that I see that I know are residual. So it's all about how sharp your senses are. For example, I'm in my living room watching TV, and here again, something on the corner of my eye caught my attention. So I turned my head and looked, and with my physical eye, I see these beings, very tall, triangle body, round head, and they're gray. And that one just came down the stairs, just kind of floated. I'm like, and I'm looking at it, and I, quickly sent it through my body. I'm like, okay, that's okay, whatever it is. And I turned around, I see another one. I'm like, ooh, a pair of whatever you guys are. But that was residual energy. They didn't look human, but they were just moving through time. It was just residual, Yet there's people that I've seen in my house where I actually talk to them, and I'm like, how can I help you? And he's like, home. I'm like, well, you're in my home. He goes, I want to go home. I'm like, okay, well, you're not alive, so you can go home. I go, what's your name? And he told me Weiss. Mr. Weiss. I'm like, okay, Mr. Weiss. I go, you have the ability just to, I don't know, walk in the light or go through a tunnel, whatever it is that you want to do, but you have the ability to, when you want to go through it, to go to your home, wherever your home is. And then I go back in my living room, I sit down, and there was some kind of commercial on TV, and the billboard said Weiss on it. It was a
No.
commercial or something. So that was validation that was an actual person who was lost, for some other reason. And I'm
That's
like, I see you.
wild. Huh?
Yeah. But so to answer that question, sometimes they're residual, and if you can interact with them and speak with them, then obviously they're kind of there. They're earthbound, and they're just trying to find a way, or they just passed, or they're in transition about passing. So it's a lot of discernment is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because every situation is different.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get to do cards. Can we do oh shoot, 11:25. Just wind up.
Okay.
Wind up.
I have a card.
All right. So you're gonna pull a card, and what is that? Your message of the day?
Yes. So I have a card. So
what
this
is it?
Three of Winter, which would be the Three of Swords in traditional tarot, which talks about heartache. This says, reach out to others for comfort and love. You will go stronger from this situation. Sadness that will heal with time. So I'm going to tie this into a little bit of astrology that I wanted to mention before we left. So the sun is at 29 degrees Pisces today because tomorrow it goes into 0 Aries because tomorrow is the spring equinox. 29 degrees Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is the most uncomfortable degree of the zodiac. So I think this card came out because today might be an uncomfortable day. We are literally in between worlds. We had the new moon yesterday, which required a release. We have the spring equinox tomorrow, and Mercury retrograde ends tomorrow on the spring equinox. So we have had a lot of planets retrograde, and one by one, they've all gone direct. Mercury is the last one that is still retrograde. So for Mercury to go direct on the spring equinox, we are starting the spring with all the planets in forward motion. This is a really big deal. We're going to have all the planets in forward motion until the end of 2026. So most of 2026 is all about forward motion. So retrogrades are like reviews and going through things internally, sorting things out internally. No, this is all outward and energy and forward, like, let's go, right? Like, literally nothing is holding us back for the rest of this year except ourselves, right? So if you want to launch a project, if you want to launch a paid tier, if you want to start a business, like whatever you want to start, like use this window for the rest of 2026. And it all starts tomorrow. But today is going to be uncomfortable. Today is that in between, and you still might be needing to release something.
And what card is that again? Show me. And what is that again?
This is the Three of Winter.
Three of Winter. And what is that? Is that swords, did you say?
Yes. So this would be Three of Swords in traditional tarot.
And I love the bear because the bear symbolizes strength and coming out of that hibernation, coming out of your comfort zone to welcome spring and to I mean, because I'm up in the mountains and those bad boys are getting active right now and they're looking for food. They're looking to start their families and I love that card.
I love that it's a winter card and it's the last day of winter.
You just can't make that stuff up. I think swords translates. I have a little cheat sheet here with me, because I'm trying to understand tarot with the clubs and spades and swords translates to spades. I have a regular deck of playing cards and I'm just going to just cut it and choose one here. And this is, Ace of Clubs.
Oh, an ace. New beginnings.
There you go. Ace in the hole. Number 1, get creative. Here we go with chills. Why am I wearing a coat? Next time I speak with you, I'm putting my winter coat on.
I'm cold right now too.
I know, I've got chills. So as we come into that winter, as we end, oh my gosh, this year has been such a thorn in my side there's been deaths, there's been cutting of cords, there's been pain, there's been all kinds of not good stuff. But I truly feel, and thank you for reminding us all that tomorrow is the spring equinox, new moon. You can't get any better timing than this. Ace in the hole, number one. This is a card of saying get creative, like what you just said. I'm going to echo it. Step out of your comfort zone. We talked about this earlier in the live, where now we're embracing the new moon, and we're stepping out, and we're to try something, and it's not just tiptoeing out of the snow, making little snow angels. We're diving. We're going right into spring. We're going right into our core of what our calling is and what our journey is. Ace, number one. You and me. There we go.
Yeah.
And everybody else here. Guys, thank you for joining us. This was so much fun. An hour and a half. Sorry, I kept you this long.
It was so much fun, Donna. Thank you for having me.
But this is so much fun. And you do have another live. I want to do that. When is that? When is your next live? Today, right?
No. So me and Amy go live on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays.
11 a.m. Eastern time. But today Amy's going live with Mila from the In-Between at, I think they start in a half an hour.
That's what I want. That's what I saw. I want to see that. So regroup and rehydrate. And thank you so much. This was tons of fun, very enlightening. And we covered a lot. I think we need a part 2 because
I was going to just say that. I think we have so much more we could talk about. I hope
we do. And I do want to say, I think if Epic Mercury is still here, he is my next guest next Thursday, and we're talking about remote viewing.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. It's a big topic, and it's complex, and I'm very excited. So Epic Mercury, if you're still here, I'll see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Lindsay, so much. Thank you, everybody. It's been so much fun. Bye-bye. Bye.